Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Ringland coming here at you again today with another High Vibe Tribe video. Today's video is going to be on NingXia Red. First off, I want to give a shout out to the boys, Mr. Vanyo. Enjoy yourself on this cleanse during this winter, man. You're a braver man than I. I'm dumber, braver. I don't know, either you are. Mr. Stefani, way to wait your video tonight. I'm pretty sure you're putting it out on Mr. Tony Troutman. Excited, love your videos as always. The magnesium videos are great. People only knew how magnesium deficient America is these days. It's terrible. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into a nice little video today. We're going to have a lot of education for you on this stuff, so be prepared. And of course, I'm going to sidestep a little bit into some things and then tell you it's a story again for a different day because, well, it's kind of the way it always goes. So first off, we've got probably everybody in Young Living's favorite, and everybody that who knows anything is probably your favorite too. It's the NingXia Red. NingXia Red, one of the, if I had one supplement to recommend, like if I was trapped on a desert island, I had only one thing, it would probably, it's a close call, it'd maybe be NingXia Red. It'd be up in the top runnings. Every time I love this stuff so much, every year for Veterans Day, except for this current year, I changed things up a little bit, because change is good. But my birthday and Veterans Day, I drink a whole bottle of this to myself. Now, you know, I used to be a massive alcoholic. I mean, we're talking bad. So, tell you what, somebody might say, oh, well, that's kind of expensive. If you go to the bar and buy one round of brews for you and your buddies, you just hit the price and it's NingXia Red. Plus, then you're causing damage. You're not getting benefits out of it. So NingXia Red, what makes this so ridiculous is not only these wolf berries. The reason it's called NingXia is it comes from the NingXia province in China, which is up in this mountain region where it makes a very, very big difference where you grow your plants. And I'd like people to really understand this, that not all plants are created equal. You're like, oh, I wouldn't got a NingXia or a wolfberry from here or whatever else. But like, there's a big difference in where they come from. And so the big thing is the mineral waters that come down from these mountains and the soils that have these micro minerals still left in them. Unfortunately, America's farming practices, they're horrific. We don't have near the nutrients left in the soil. Well, everybody out there might say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to get my vitamins and minerals from the food that I eat. You know, that's well in hypothesis, but in actuality, have fun doing that. The reason why is the mineral content in our food has dropped by at least 50%. So the number of vitamins and minerals that come in our food is nothing like what it used to be. Due to our farming practices, you know, we just spray chemicals on the soil and think it's the same type of thing, think it's the same deal. It's not at all. So the problem is, in many cases too, especially with conventional farming, we're looking at probably closer to 10 or 20% of the nutrients in our food that used to be there. So while everybody can talk about, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just get it from my food, it doesn't really work that way anymore. Unfortunately, you know what, until humanity kind of wakes up here and learns its lesson that we can't just spray chemicals on everything. I don't know whose great idea it was to spray your food with poisons. It's the worst idea you could possibly do. But that's what ends up happening. The other thing is too, you know, it gets sprayed with these fungicides and these herbicides and everything. What that does is that makes the plant naturally create less and less and less defenses. Eventually, over time, it's going to make it more susceptible to disease, but for a while, it'll work a little bit, kind of like when you go on antibiotics. Okay, yeah, I'm on antibiotics, it worked for now, but what does that do over time? It makes those antibiotic-resistant strains. The same thing happens when you're constantly spraying your food with fungicides and herbicides and pesticides, you know, suicides. I mean, over time, that's a really bad thing. So in this bottle is about 30 shots in it. It's about a month's long worth into here, unless you're like pretty much every other Young Living user that has absolutely no self-control when it comes to NingXia, and then the bottle is really quickly. Myself included, I have really learned self-control thanks to the NingXia. It's either that or I'm going to be homeless if I didn't, because it's so good. But in a single 1 ounce shot of this, there's the same number of antioxidants as 11 pounds of organic spinach. 11 pounds. Number one, go buy 11 pounds of organic spinach. See what that costs you. Then number two, try and eat that many. 1 ounce shot also has the same number of antioxidants as 100 organic oranges. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it's because it is. That's how ridiculously well put this is in the amount of antioxidant content in it. For dollar, if you're trying to get antioxidant support and energy support, you will not find a better product than this one. And I mean, I like to jump ship as soon as I find something better. I'll be like, do I find something better? I'm out of here. It's not, I have tried a lot of stuff. Time and time again, I keep coming back to this. The other thing too is it tastes fantastic. So it's full of a symbiotic nutrient, vitamin, and mineral pairs. And so that's a big thing to note. When you put these things together, they work better. So they get a synergistic and a symbiotic effect of putting them all of them together. And the B vitamins found in here are a really unique form of B vitamin. And since we're on the topic of B vitamins, we're going to talk about something that not a whole lot of people are aware of. See, B vitamins they're synthesized in your gut, down here by your microbiome. Problem is, a lot of us, thanks to the Roundup and the sugary foods and everything we've been eating and overuse of antibiotics, we have no gut health left anymore. We eat no fermented foods. So us getting the energy out of the food that we eat is, getting the B vitamins we need is exceptionally, it's just, we have a lot of cards stacked against us these days just because of the way things have gone. And so B vitamins are what actually get the energy out of the food that you eat. So while you can eat a whole bunch of food, if you're B vitamin deficient, you're not getting any of that energy out of your foods, and so that's a big issue. It's a lot of reason why so many people just have low energy these days is we're B vitamin deficient. We destroyed our gut health, so we can't synthesize and make the B vitamins like we're supposed to. And while we're on the topic, I talked about some of my earlier videos before how unfortunately our modern science has lost its mind and has no idea what it's talking about. And I'd like to point something out. I talked about folic acid versus folate and why women should not take folic acid because it's actually poisonous to you. We're going to talk about a real poison. It's vitamin B12, and it comes in two different forms for the most part, and I'm just going to talk about two of them. It comes as either a methylcobalamin, which is a methylated cobalamin, and a cyanocobalamin. And so here's the big thing. You go take a look at the back of all these different energy drinks, you look at the back of the bottle, you're like, oh, okay, methylcobalamin, vitamin B12, it'll tell you like 1,800%. It's just an astronomical amount. Yes, it will work. Yes, it is technically vitamin B12. But here's the thing I'd like you to know. This B vitamin, the cyanocobalamin, that cyano part, is because it's bound to a cyanide molecule. And so your liver is basically on a kamikaze mission. It needs this vitamin B12 to do all this different work and to get its energy. And I mean, the number of functions that B12 performs in the body is huge. But the thing is, now when your body's desperately trying to get this B12 that almost everybody's deficient in, it's got a two-pronged process. Number one, the problem is it's got to methylate that B vitamin in order to be used. And so that's huge. That's a big burden on the liver. I mean, that takes up sulfur, glutathione. This whole methylation process is very long. That's a very different topic for a different day. But when it comes as this cyanide, bound to the cyanide molecule, not only when your body needs energy is it committing a kamikaze suicide mission, it's pulling this B12 off of there. Now you're left with a free-bound cyanide molecule your body's got to mop up. So it's not only going to clean up the cyanide molecule, but it's also going to methylate that B vitamin as well, so it's a double-pronged damage to the liver. And so while this is not exceptionally high in B12, I just wanted to let people know this is something to pay attention to of why our modern pharmacology has kind of lost its mind. Unfortunately, very few people are actually trained in nutrition whatsoever anymore. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about. If you're out there pounding these Red Bull, I don't want to mention names, you're pounding these energy drinks and you're looking at the back of it, you look for that B12, that cyanocobalamin, you're pumping yourself full of cyanide. Is that something you really want to do? Wikipedia will say, oh yeah, it's got the cyanide is excreted. Cyanide is excreted. Well, yeah, any cyanide I take is going to get excreted, but guess what? It is damaging on the way in and out. So anyway, much better option if you need more energy, NingXia Red. Now, you might notice on here I got a little bit something that says Tolly on here. This is Tolly's NingXia bottle, and I've got a little formula I put in here that's I'm forbidden to talk about due to the FDA and the banning of it. All I can say is you've got a magic little something mixed up that I'm very happy to have gotten my oils in the scripture kit. And the epigenetics part, I will talk a little bit about now, but mostly I have to save this for the future because this epigenetics thing is a really long topic. If you don't know who Dr. Bruce Lipton is, he's a PhD, he was a stem cell researcher back in the 70s. And we always thought that your genetics were set. This is what your genetics are, it's what you're born with, and if you've got a defective mechanism or X number of things, that's the way it is the rest of your life. Well, he found out through the work of the stem cells that genetics are not completely set. They are very permeable, second to second, minute to minute, they will change. And on top of that, we've also got this protein sleeve that goes over your genetics. And so it depends, will this gene get expressed or not? So while you might have X number of gene for, say, breast cancer or whatever, that doesn't mean that you have any higher risk. If it's got this protein sleeve over it, then all of a sudden that controls whether it's expressed or not. And what you do in your daily life depends on if that gene gets expressed or not. And so your epigenetics, look him up. He's got some wonderful, wonderful videos. I love listening to him. The whole biology belief is just, it's very neat. I mean, we can even get to the placebo effect or nocebo effect, which I will cover on day 33 of our oils. Different story every day yet again. But the long story short, why I'm mentioning this and why this is so important for your genetic and DNA support NingXia Red is one of the greatest ones because your DNA, to formulate and rebuild itself and to basically encode and decode stuff, requires huge quantities of antioxidants. Your DNA is negatively electrically charged. This electric charge has to come from somewhere. Mostly it comes out of the foods that you eat. You can also do meditations and prayers and different things, or even binaural beats. And it's another topic for another day. But the one I'm going to focus on is the foods you get out of it. So when you're talking antioxidant support, NingXia Red for your DNA support and any form of epigenetic work you're going to do. I will do videos on all this epigenetic alterations because it's been a long research process of mine. It stressed me out a lot because I didn't know how to do it right away. And so I had to take about 1.5 years off the gym because turns out altering your genetics is kind of a touchy deal to do. And so the other part I'd like to note is why this is so important too. Because not only is the food that we eat now exceptionally nutrient dense, it has nothing left that it used to in there. We've destroyed our gut health, so getting these B vitamins is much tougher for us. The other reason I'm going to talk about why that it's so important is we have so much genetically damaging electromagnetic frequencies everywhere. We used to say, oh yeah, you know, our grandfathers and parents, our ancestors didn't have this, they didn't need it. Well, guess what? They also didn't live in this electromagnetic soup. The silly phone we got every single day. These things, when you're holding, every second you're holding on to it. They call it a cellular telephone for a reason. You know why? These microwaves communicate with your cells. There's something called optogenetics, that your cells communicate with different forms of light, from ultraviolet to infrared to even microwave and gamma and X-ray radiation. Your cells will use bits and pieces of this to communicate with each other. So the thing is, we've got Wi-Fis, we've got cell phones. Every school has got a Wi-Fi in it that's cooking. You know, from the day that your kids are born, you know, like when a girl's born, she's born with every egg that she's going to have for the rest of her life. So when she sits in this electromagnetic soup every single day, that's bombarding her eggs and her genetics constantly with this microwave radiation. There has been a wonderful cover-up to talk about, oh, smart meters are safe, cell phones are fine, you know, FDA or FAA regulates them and blah, blah. I'm going to tell you it's a load of hogwash. If people understood how bad this stuff really was for you, and that these cell phone towers, I mean, they can directly edit your DNA from a distance because cells use these things to communicate. They can break strands or edit new ones in. So when it comes to the DNA support, this is a huge, huge, huge reason. Anybody that's into, especially this is more geared for the guys that are out there, you also need these B vitamins to assimilate proteins. So assimilating proteins, what is every bit of your genetics made of? It's made up of 4 different proteins, you know, A, T, C, G. These are proteins, and they have to be methylated, and there's ways to achieve it. Another topic, another day. And so gentlemen, or anybody trying to put muscle mass on as well, if you're B vitamin deficient, you're now pounding a whole bunch of protein that your body can't do much with because you're B vitamin deficient. It needs those B vitamins to get that protein in there. Another wonderful aspect of it, of the NingXia Red, the citrus oils and the fruits that are in it, it's outstanding for helping support the immune system. And talking about more so in the gym, it's great for body pH support and body pH management. You come in, you know, you go work out, hit the gym, you know, buys, tries, whatever you're doing, that creates lactic acid, which has to be buffered, which only goes at a certain rate. The thing is, if you are more effectively managing your body pH, that means when you come in and you exercise, you're going to be less sore the next day. And so I like to talk in my book essentially a bit about that, being like, hey, you know, the whole goal is, remember, the damage happens in the gym. Healing happens when you get home. So you come in and you pound your crap out of yourself in the gym thinking that's the way you're going to lose weight. And unfortunately, that's really not the way it's going to work. You know, it's got to be through your diet. And so now all you're doing is you're stressing yourself out more. So a big thing I like to talk about, and I really focus on this in my book, is get your NingXia Red. Because number one, you're going to have the energy to work out there. And that's going to be great, being like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like crap. I actually feel like going to the gym. That's going to be a great part. Number two, if you're managing your body pH, now you're going to be less sore the next day because you can more effectively buffer this lactic acid. And so when you're less sore, what are you going to be? You're going to be more inclined to go work out again because the next day you're going to feel like a train hit you. So all the different reasons, the immune support is a huge one. I cannot stress to you how much it makes a difference to manage your body pH and what that does to your immune system. And this is a wonderful way to do it. I encourage everybody to look up an individual by the name of Dr. Otto Warburg. And body pH, and you'll find some very, very, very interesting stuff on there. He was a Nobel Prize winner for a bunch of his work, if that makes anybody care a little bit more. So definitely look him up. So the NingXia Red, I started getting this to Tolly as soon as possible. Just remember, if you're starting with a young kid, and I think I started at age 6 months with Tolly, Remember, because it's got a bunch of prebiotic fibers in it too from the wolfberries that are in there, along with the citrus oils and everything else. You start with a young kid, start slow. And if you're starting for the first time, remember to start slow as well, because your microbiome is going to need a little bit of time to adapt to it. It doesn't I mean, you can't eat something right away and your digestive tract is instantly able to handle it, especially if we're on this American diet. So if you've got kids out there too, I mean, this is one of the best ways. And sure, I know you don't want your kid having more energy. You're like, I get it, that's fine. That just means save enough for you. But for their immune support of what they're going to do, and then your genetics. Your genetics are the most valuable thing that you can have. And we have stuff everywhere. I mean, Roundup will sabotage your genetics like you would not believe. It destroys your detoxification mechanism systems. And then we've also got these genetically modified foods. Genetically modified foods, they're horrific for you. I cannot stress to you how bad these things are. Their DNA is literally DNA locked, screaming in pain. Because they take it and they don't just crossbreed stuff like they love to paint this pretty picture that, oh, it's the exact same as what they do in nature. No, they take these seeds and they irradiate the crap out of them with different radiations, and they put them under the worst stress. And the ones that survive, hooray, these are the ones that we get to make these genetically modified foods by implanting different DNA from a frog or a tomato into this corn with a virus and then irradiating the crap. Basically, they give it chemotherapy. And the ones that survive, it literally has its DNA locked, screaming in pain. And when you eat that stuff, it goes down and you've got gram-positive bacteria that are single-cell walled, that what are called promiscuous. And because they only have a single-cell wall, they can't keep antibiotics out as well. What they do is they swap DNA with their buddies, just that way they can adapt to antibiotics really fast. But the problem is, these genetically modified foods, those enzymes and that DNA gets transferred into your microbiome, so that now you can even have, you've heard of the Bt toxin, that these plants literally produce insecticide all the time to try and keep insects away while they adapted to that. The problem is, though, your bacteria will now pick that up, and now you're manufacturing an insecticide in your gut all the time, that it will punch holes in your cell membranes. It's a big cause of leaky gut. I know people aren't going to like hearing this stuff, but you know what, I'm trying to save you guys from some of this stuff. If you value your genetics and your kids and the rest of it, stay away from the GMOs. Like, do everything that you can to get away from them. And I'm going to get a lot of backlash about this, and that's fine with me. I told you can backlash, disagree. I'll bring all the studies we want in the world. But back to the original topic, genetic DNA support, because we just have a myriad of toxic electromagnetic soup. We got silly phones, we got iPads and smart pads, and we've got a Wi-Fi in every classroom these days in school, thinking it's the greatest thing in the world. Hey, we're gonna get an iPad for every single kid too. You get where I'm going with it. So to keep it from going too low vibe, great answer, and it's so cost effective. It's the NingXia Red. You need 11 pounds of organic spinach in a 1 ounce shot. That means there's 300 pounds of spinach worth of antioxidants in this thing. Now granted, it is not every vitamin that you need, no. However, for antioxidant DNA support, this stuff is amazing for it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video a little bit. You know, gentlemen or ladies, anyone trying to put some more muscle mass on in the gym, make less protein, do more. It's not about taking more, it's about making less do more. So if you can take, you know, a little bit of this a day, and all of a sudden you've got enough B vitamins to start assimilating these proteins, not only for your genetics, but for actually putting your mass on. That's more cost effective, isn't it? Plus you're gonna have more energy in the gym. Plus now you're not taking, I talked about those energy drinks that have that cyanide bound to a B vitamin. This is a win-win-win-win-win. I mean, energy drinks, what do those cost? $2.50 a piece, plus they're filled with NutraSweet. Don't get me started there. Look at the amount of sugar that's in them. Yeah, like, we don't even have to touch that topic. Gentlemen, ladies, much better solution. The number of benefits that it comes with, I can't even get started on. I will, however, down the line talk about epigenetics further and how to get a little bit deeper into that, because I don't know everything on it yet, but I am learning quite well quickly with it, and I put my body through the ringer as a test dummy that I found out how much it can hurt when you do it the wrong way and try to detox your genetics too quickly. Turns out it's kind of tough on you. So hope you guys have had a good one. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and hopefully you kind of understand how unbelievably great this stuff is to have all the time. Yeah, it costs a little bit of money, but I tell you what, it costs a whole lot more not to down the road. So everybody try and stay warm this winter. The rest of the High Vibe tribe, keep those videos coming. You're doing great. Thank you guys so much for putting up with me and listening to this stuff. And I hope the info has been healthy, and everybody stay healthy, my friends.